I've made a lot of different theory videos in the past here, especially my Worst Snoke Theory video series, where I covered different existing fan theories on Snoke, ranging from plausible to absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, I don't believe in any of them. I just like either entertaining different theories or parroting them for their ridiculousness. That is until now, and that's mostly because of The Last Jedi trailer. Rey's parentage is a big mystery in the sequel trilogy, and I'd go as far as to say its eventual reveal is even more anticipated than that of Snoke's. And now that The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson has said that Rey's past will be the focus of The Last Jedi, we may finally find out the answer to this question that has perplexed us for the last 2 years. So what do I think Rey's parentage is? Truthfully, I originally saw her as a Skywalker and wanted that to be the case. At least until I seen The Last Jedi trailer. Simply put, the trailer completely changed my belief on Rey's lineage, and for a good reason. As it may sound crazy at first, but hear me out before you write it off. In my opinion, I think Rey is in fact a Palpatine. And The Last Jedi hinted that in several ways, and I'll tell you exactly how. Starting off, let's first take a look at Rey's opening shot in the trailer, where she ignites her lightsaber. The sheer moment she ignites it, we hear a faint but absolutely undeniable Sith screech, that of Sheev Palpatine. The same exact screech he made in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when igniting his lightsaber and revealing himself for the first time to the Jedi. What are the odds that this sound effect would be added in the trailer for when Rey, out of all people, would be igniting her lightsaber? I don't think it's a coincidence, but rather the first hint in this trailer for Rey Palpatine.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Not yet.
It's treason, then.
Next, we see Rey's incredible raw force power at work on Ahch-To. Power that a normal force user, especially a highly trained one, would rarely ever hold. And Rey has all of this without any training whatsoever. So let's ask ourselves here, what is Luke exactly afraid of? If she was his daughter, then sure, he would be a little spooked at first, but at the same time, likely be proud and know it's his duty as not only the Last Jedi Master, but as well as her father to teach her on how to properly use her power to its maximum potential, so she can use it for good and help him defeat Snoke. But that's clearly not the case here. He's afraid, more than afraid, to the point actually where he seems to be rather aggressive towards her and turning her training requests down at every opportunity, in hopes she doesn't tap into her full power. He even says that once he's seen this raw strength only once before, and while he wasn't afraid of it then, he is now. And yes, the trailer may lead us to believe he's talking about Kylo, but I think this may actually be a misdirect, and he's really talking about Palpatine. Palpatine, after all, was the most powerful Sith ever in existence, to the point where he no longer cared to use a lightsaber, but rather exhibit his incredible force power in the form of his Sith Force Lightning, a technique of the dark side that Luke originally did not know about, as once he defeated Vader, he was confident he had won and showed no fear to the Emperor. That is, until he felt the power of the dark side unleashed upon him by Palpatine's Force Lightning, feeling the worst pain and anguish he ever had felt in his life. Now, having once already witnessed such power before, it makes complete sense why he would be afraid to not want to risk seeing something like that happen again. So if we're going with this theory, let's look at it this way. Here's Luke, a Jedi Master who once helped defeat Palpatine, the Sith Lord known as Darth Sidious. Now 30 years later, here he is met with a descendant of not only his enemy, but the enemy of every single Jedi, whom also possesses incredible force power, that has come all the way to Luke looking to be trained by him. Palpatine once wished to turn Luke to the dark side and train him himself, and now Luke would be training a descendant of Palpatine. And knowing how incredibly evil that family is, it's not a surprise that Luke simply doesn't want anything to do with her. Of course, Rey has no idea she is a Palpatine, but Luke does and is afraid that she would eventually turn and the galaxy would have another Palpatine on its hands, all thanks to Luke Skywalker. Next is Snoke's presence in the trailer and the meaning of his words. When we hear him speak, he says how he first found them. He saw raw, untamed power, and beyond that, something truly special. So the trailer makes us think that Snoke is talking to and about Kylo Ren here. But we don't know that for sure, as he doesn't mention Kylo by name. I actually think this is Snoke speaking to Rey and telling her of her immense power, just as Luke did, and the reason he wants her so badly, as there is something really special about her. And what exactly is that? Well, this ties into the actual shot of Snoke in the trailer seen almost torturing Rey and telling her to fulfill her destiny. Well, what kind of destiny would she be expected to fulfill? Of course, continuing what Palpatine had started. I think Snoke knows very well that Rey is a Palpatine. He can sense her power and feel that it is similar to that of Palpatine, and sees her relation to Palpatine being what makes her so special, as she has that kind of potential to the dark side that he has never seen anyone else ever hold, not even Kylo Ren, which makes him jealous of Rey. Snoke likely knows there's a limit to the dark side and the power within Kylo, but not in Rey, which is why he seeks her. And I actually think this might be in the scene where Snoke is attempting to unlock the dark side within Rey. Because when thinking about it, Snoke telling Rey to fulfill her destiny within the dark side would not make sense otherwise. If she was truly good and had been a Skywalker or a Kenobi, her destiny would have never been to be evil. Because Anakin eventually came back to the light, while Luke and Obi-Wan fought only for good. So Snoke talking to Rey like that wouldn't really make sense. For example, it would be like Snoke had captured Yoda and told him to fulfill his destiny. What destiny would that be? Definitely not an evil destiny or anything that would be of interest to Snoke. Probably would be a destiny to train more Jedi and eradicate any more evil in the galaxy. Yeah, I'm sure Snoke would really care about that kind of destiny. But anyways, back to Rey, I think that's a big reason why Snoke's comments help further elevate my theory here regarding Palpa Rey. Because Snoke's comments to Rey would not have any logic at all. Finally, some more further speculation here, but Rey, after eventually learning of the dark side playing such a prominent part in her family, and seeing Luke wants nothing to do with her, maybe that's the reason for her seeking Kylo out, to help bring her to Snoke for training. So that Snoke can not only train Kylo, the next generation Darth Vader, but also Rey to become the next generation Palpatine. Maybe or maybe not, who knows at this point anymore. Now the Rey Palpatine theory is nothing new, and before I really did not put too much into it. However, after this trailer, as I said, that all changed. And now all the clues and hints for the previous Rey Palpatine theory make total sense. So I'll quickly go over them here as well, as it will not only help complement, but solidify my arguments that were made here based off the trailer. First, her fighting style. A very compelling argument for why Rey is a descendant of Palpatine. In The Force Awakens, Rey's first move upon force-grabbing Anakin's lightsaber was to jab at Kylo with a horizontal stab motion, both hands on the hilt with a big forward shoulder thrust. This is exactly the same move that Palpatine uses to take the Jedi down when Mace Windu comes and arrests him in Revenge of the Sith. Rey repeats the move 2 more times over the course of her short fight with Kylo, and the Emperor uses it multiple times in both his major fight scenes. It's actually a fighting style that does not fit in any of the traditional forms, and indicates that the character is powerful and talented enough to forge their own style. More importantly, it's a move that is not used by any other saber wielder in any of the other movies. The only 2 characters to use it are Palpatine and Rey, and both use it multiple times. Coincidence? I think not. Her rage. Rey repeatedly loses herself to rage over the course of The Force Awakens. She angrily fights with Tito when she sees him hauling off BB-8. She gets a feel for the power of the blaster when firing at stormtroopers outside of Maz Kanata's castle, and proceeds to angrily blast her way through several of them before turning her guns on Kylo Ren. She angrily fights with Ren as he is interrogating her, ending with a zinger, "You'll never be as powerful as Darth Vader." Then of course there's the hate-fueled rampage she goes on when she sees Kylo take down Han Solo. Her accent. British accents in Star Wars are generally attributed to affluent classes from the core systems of the galaxy, which means Rey's accent only indicates that she was raised at the very least, somewhere near the core or by upper-class people who come from the core. Furthermore, her accent sounds very similar to the British accent found on Coruscant, which, when we think about it, what well-known Sith Lord Chancellor spent a large portion of his life on Coruscant? That's a tough one. Her name. Names in Star Wars movies always had a significance. Darth Vader is the obvious Dark Father, Luke is a biblical name that derives from the Latin word for light, Han Solo is a loner, Yoda comes from the Hebrew word for wisdom, and the list goes on. Rey could be interpreted in a couple of ways. Just like Darth Vader was Dutch for Dark Father, Rey is also Spanish for king. King being a monarch ruler just like that of the word emperor, Emperor Palpatine. Do you see where I'm going with this? Finally, her theme song. Rey's theme, while it has similar motifs to other established Star Wars themes, it most notably shares similar motion to that of the Emperor's theme. Not to mention the introduction to Rey's scavenger theme also echoes the brass-based dissonances leading up to the Emperor's theme. Listen a little longer and you'll find that the final cadence is nearly identical tonally to the main motif in the Imperial March. Finally, and this is really scraping the bottom of the barrel, but Rey does share similarities to Padme, who was a Naboo native like Palpatine. And Padme had somewhat of a common look for females in Naboo. As we can remember, she had more than several body doubles, all whom looked similar to Padme, but were just regular Naboo girls. So that may show a connection to Naboo that Rey may have, and okay, actually no, that's really a stretch here. But yeah, that's my theory for why I think Rey is a Palpatine. It still doesn't answer who her parents were, whether Palpatine was her dad, which I don't see how that would work, or maybe she was DNA'd from Palpatine, or she was created by the Force. Yeah, the actual parent part here is a little foggy. Can't explain that part yet, but hey, it's not the point of the video. I'm sure if Rey is a Palpatine, Disney will find some way of explaining it. So what do you all think of this? Are you convinced by the hints that help support this theory from the Last Jedi trailer, or do you think it's utter nonsense and Rey is a Skywalker, Kenobi, Solo, or a Binks, no matter what the trailer suggests? Let me know in the comments down below. But that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if so, drop a like on the video to help support the channel. Also, if you're looking for more Star Wars content, I'd recommend subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. And join us on our Discord channel for even more Star Wars talk. But as always, may the Force be with you.